like dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Wow! Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
Welcome back, you ghoulish go-getters, to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer, and I have a tremendous Hammer horror flick lined up for us. It is Terence Fisher's 1962 classic. It is The Phantom of the Opera. And guys, this one is just atmospheric as all Hammer films are, and it's just operatic and just a whole hell of a lot of fun. Let's dive into this enchanting flick. Here is The Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera is an excellent Hammer Film Productions adaptation of the famous Gaston Leroux novel by the same name. Set in a number of elaborately Gothic locations and centered on an ornate opera house, the movie boasts a lucid atmosphere that commendably captures Leroux's writings, while at the same time the production stakes claim to a few stylistic choices of its own. High on production value and ambience, this horror entry blends the famous Hammer style with the conventions of the legendary story of the Phantom of the Opera, to make a cinematic spectacle that any genre lover should appreciate. The film follows the haunting occurrences at a London opera house by an elusive spectre, who seems determined to halt production on the theater's next play. With a determined director named Harry Hunter and a ruthless producer named Lord Ambrose Darcy, the opera pushes forward through the sabotage, but it isn't until the lead actress of the play, Christine Charles, is kidnapped, that people start to question if the Phantom of the Opera is indeed a ghost, or a jaded individual with other motives in mind. Driven by his love for Miss Charles and resolute in keeping the opera afloat, Harry sets off on a quest to track down the Phantom of the Opera. But what he finds is a storied past that flips his perception of the play he's directing, and the producer behind it. Edward D. Souza plays the role of Harry Hunter, the director with a heart of gold and an attitude to match. As the hero of the piece, Edward is tasked with the larger-than-life obstacle of getting the audience to support him every inch of the way, and Edward does that commendably. With a sharp wit and charismatic demeanor, Edward lives it up as the central actor of the production. Pairing with him is the lovely Heather Sears playing the role of Christine Charles. Christine is a shy and timid character who slowly blossoms as the film moves along. When we first see her, she is auditioning for a part in the play, and in these moments she is a bit restrained and apprehensive about her future at the opera house. But after she gets the part and becomes more confident, we start to see a more outgoing sort of character that still holds on to that delicate aspect that made her so endearing. Sears is perfect in the role, and her performance is heartfelt and somber. On the other side of the coin, we have Michael Gow taking on the role of Lord Ambrose Darcy, the biggest asshole in the world. Gow is in top form, portraying the spineless dirtbag to the letter, and his venomous nature and heartless attitude is exceptionally devilish. Opposing Gow's Lord Ambrose Darcy is Herbert Lom in the role of the Phantom. Lom is one of those classic actors who often gets lost in the shuffle and passing of time. Doomed to be forgotten by the majority of the movie-watching public, but the man has garnered quite an impressive career throughout the years. His role in The Phantom of the Opera was definitely one of his best, and his portrayal of the haunted composer is one of my personal favorites. As this is a Hammer film, the production value of this movie is of the highest of qualities. The sets are lavish, the locations are gothic, and the overall feel of the film is abundantly classy. From the dressing rooms and lobbies to the dark and dank underbelly of the opera house's underground tunnels, the film spares no expense in giving us a plethora of interesting locales for the story to take place in. The Phantom of the Opera is a sorely underrated Hammer effort that tells a compelling story about one man's horrifying transformation into a monster, and his agonizing struggle to reclaim himself and everything he lost. Terence Fisher knocks another one out of the park with this entry, and his expert eye can be seen throughout this entire production. The moments in this film are just so surreal and astounding that you have to respect the artistry on display. This particular adaptation really is a special interpretation of the classic story, and if anything else, you really can't go wrong with a Hammer film. The Phantom of the Opera is hammer-tastic, atmospheric fun. And there you have it, you Hammer-loving freaks. That is the fabulous Hammer flick, The Phantom of the Opera. Just a great Hammer production, and just a great horror film all around. But guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, leave a comment below because I'd love to hear from you. But until then, I will see you at the next movie review. Take care.